Yuwen Yue wanted to give her a beating to make sure she remembered this lesson, but after lifting his hand for a while, he was at a loss where to hit her. Seeing how she merely cowered and waited for him to hit her, he felt rather frustrated and bellowed, "Why didn't you try to me?" Chu Qiao opened her eyes, and pouting, she looked rather pitiful as she explained, "I am really trying to apologize." "You know that you should apologize?" Yuwen Yue looked at her from the corner of his eyes. Ignoring the amused looked from the subordinates around, he stretched out and pinched Chu Qiao's skinny face as he firmly asked, "Did you suddenly become so forgetful that you did not reply to all my letters?" "I did not have time." Chu Qiao frowned as she tried to explain. "You had no time to reply, but you had time to burn my letter?" Chu Qiao continued to try to find excuses. "If I did not pretend I was so determined, Sundi would never have believed me. If he did not believe me, the others, like the king of Jinggan, would be even less trusting of Yuwen Yue." Stared at her and continued to question. "Then why did you not inform me earlier, resulting in me running so far to come here?" Chu Qiao cowered, and as she blinked, she seemed like she finally had no more excuses. "Quickly, own up." "I merely followed what Xiaote wanted me to do. If you are so courageous, you can look for him." Yuwen Yue seemed exceedingly frustrated, and finally he uttered, "Fine. If there is one more time, I will go and take over all of Xiaoqi's territory. By then you can't even be a consort." "Keep pretending," Chu Qiao quietly giggled in her mind. Yet she pretended to be obedient and said, "Of course, how could I? I will keep my promise. This will be the last time." Yuwen Yue pretentiously shook his head as though his ego had been greatly filed. "Wah!" A loud cry of a baby came from the carriage that Chu Qiao brought. That sound stunned everyone. Chu Qiao quickly lifted up the veil of the carriage, only to see that two nannies were carrying a baby that seemed only 4 to 5 months old. The baby had just woken up and was currently practicing its only skill crying. Chu Qiao quickly lifted the kid up and started to soothe it. "What is this?" Yuwen Yue seemed rather gloomy as he coldly asked. Chu Qiao gave us a weird look as she honestly replied, "A baby." "I know!" Yuwen Yue was getting impatient and bellowed, "Whose kid is this?" Chu Qiao suddenly remembered that she had not yet explained the entire situation. She started to elaborate. "This is the third son of Xiaoche Xiaoqingrong, although we may need to give him a different name from now on. His mother was named Zhan Ziming. Before death, Xiaoche handed this kid to me and informed me to bring this kid out from the palace, in fear that this young child would be hurt if he remained in the palace." Xiaoqi's son, Yuwen Yue frowned, only so see the child's crimson lips and pure white tooth with the pair of pitch-black eyes, looking at him. At this moment, he was playing with the decoration that was hanging on Chu Qiao's clothes, his eyes rolling around. At one glance, his demeanor seemed exactly like a certain friend who had passed away. His heart suddenly felt a certain gloom. Just as he was about to speak, the kid suddenly tuned to him. With his eyes rolling around, the kid started to cry with all its strength again, seemingly disturbed by something. "What happened? Why is he crying?" Chu Qiao seemed rather perplexed. Medeng rushed up as well and asked the nannies, "Could the kid be hungry?" The nanny immediately shook her head and explained that he had just drank milk a while ago. Make Xiang dug out the kid's underwear. It was clear that he had not wet himself. Other Chu Qiao suddenly thought of something as she turned and spoke to Yuwen Yue. "The kid might not like you." Yuwen Yue's face paled, and he bellowed, "Why would he dislike me?" Try to distance yourself to see if it is true. A certain person felt unable to accept that suggestion as he frowned and countered, "Why? I did not even beat him up." Some people are simply not good with others. Perhaps you are of this category. Indeed, brother-in-law, try walking further away. Perhaps Rongzhi will not be so afraid after seeing that you are walking away. Jinging continued to fan the flames at the side. What are you talking about? Yue weakly retorted at the side in an attempt to help his master. Actually, Master is actually rather kind and friendly. And with that, his voice trailed off into, turning inaudible. Finally, Yuwen Yue walked off. Xiao Qingrong suddenly stopped crying. Although he was crying loudly previously, he seemed to be still weeping, but one could already see the grin on his cheeks. Before long, the entire crowd exploded into laughter. It seemed like the kid had accidentally hurt his head while playing with Yueqi's sword and ended up angrily biting Yueqi's shoulder in return. Yuwen Yue sat on a rock far away, and looking at the crowd smiling in the distance, he muttered in his heart, "This young kid is really just like his dad." Chu Qiao rushed over and sat beside him. Even the all-powerful Yueqi and the others were at a loss as to how to handle this kid. Soon, after they handed the kid to the stunned Fang Chu and called out, "Oh gosh!" The kid seemed so surprised. "Come, you shall hug him first." "Oh gosh, I told you to hug him. Just take him." Chu Qiao hugged Yuwen Yue's arm and leaned her face onto his shoulder. She looked at him from the side while heaving a sigh of relief and saying, "The incident finally ended. Are you tired?" "Somewhat." Chu Qiao closed her eyes as the golden light of the sand washed onto her face. "I am worried that you may have been worried, so I tried to rush everything." Yuwono still felt rather upset and continued to ask, "Why did you not read my letters?" "I did not know if I could succeed." Chu Qiao lifted her head up and smiled to Yuwen Yue. "I was not certain if I could succeed, that I could die. I was worried that after reading your letters, I may not have had enough courage to continue." Chu Qiao smiled, like a flower, in a manner that Yuwen Yue seemed to have never seen before. She smiled without any worries. She continued, "You are my Achilles' heel. You make me unwilling to stay strong." Looking at her, Yuwen Yue's face turned gentle. Pulling her over, he told her in a calm, deep voice, "When you are by my side, you need not be strong." As he finished, he kissed her forehead. "Ah, that is so embarrassing," Jingjing shouted. The sky was so waste. As the landscape red with autumn leaves stretched into the horizon, Chu Qiao had never seen Yuwen Yue sleep so much in one go before. The moment he boarded the ship at Kangzhou, he slept and did not open his eyes for an entire day, and was not even aware when Chu Qiao entered his room. Yueqi said that he had not slept properly since setting off from Zhenhuang City. He was probably dog-tired by now. Yuwen Yue's condition did not seem all that well. In the past few days, she had seen him discreetly eat some black medicine. She had wont to ask Yueqi about it, yet he tried to hide it from her. Mixing knew a little about medicines, and later informed Chu Qiao that Yuwen Yue probably was too tired and had caught a cold. Being too tired and caught a cold, Chu Qiao sat on the chair while cupping her chin. The boat proceeded rather smoothly as there was no wind nor waves. Even though the windows were shut tight, one could still see the vague silhouette of the distancing scenery. She was once again reminded of that time when she had been forced into an escapade by Yuan Chuner. At that time, Zhan Ziyu and Zhan Ziming were merely exiled nobles, and Xiaoche was still well and alive as the carefree prince of the Liang Empire. Mr. Wu, Lady Yu, and others were all still well and alive, fighting for their dreams. Yan Xun, her closest friend, and her beloved. As for her herself, she was full of confidence that she could contribute something to this battered world by herself, aided by friends of similar faith. Yet, the most cruel killer in the world is time. Now, Xiaoche was gone, Mr. Wu was murdered, Lady Yu died in her embrace, Zhan Ziyu dragged his family along with his ambitions. Her closest friends were never so loyal to the cause, and most left her. Even Yan Xun eventually turned into a stranger. With the passage of time, even the vast achievements were covered in dust as dreams vanished like mist, and like the tall grass at the end of autumn, swaying in the wind with the withered leaves, mocking others in laughter at their past promises. Indeed, no one could not change. Even herself, could she say that she was the same person? Turning her head back slowly, Yuwen Yue seemed to be still asleep. He had always been a stubborn and awkward person. Even as he slept, his brows were firmly furrowed together. With his usually cold eyes covered by his eyelids, his handsome, well-defined features seemed more obvious than ever. It was rumored that people who looked like him were cold and emotionless. Yet, only he was so firm in his emotions and clung onto his feelings for so long that even she felt pity for him. The Liang Empire was darker than expected, as the undercurrent swept about without forewarned danger. That was rather different from the conflict that the Wei Empire displayed, and was mostly in the form of an unseen arrow. Wrapped with layers of frills and decorations, the hidden arrows could kill people before one could even grow aware of the murderer. In the end, she was able to find out that even the death of Xiaoqi's father was due to Xiaoqi's mother. She had repeatedly tried to kill the emperor in a variety of methods ranging from poison to assassination. In the process, she almost succeeded a few times, yet the old emperor always let her off and did not publicize those incidents. The old emperor was also rather furious and had threatened hurt to the king of Luo and her family. He had also tried to evoke her jealousy by giving all his attention to the other ladies in the harem and had held her under house arrest countless times. Yet, he still could not win his over-own conscience. As he grew older, he dismissed his entire harem and gave all his attention to her alone. She seemed to have been touched by him, and finally give him a few years of peace. That was a funny, yet cute. Can't help to laugh at Yuwen Yue's expressions. Please vote again this chapter. Thank you. Continue for next part.